So we have some elementary kids and a hard R comedy. This should be very interesting. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and this is just my opinion. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for tuning in to my opinion/review for Good Boys. I really do appreciate it. And if you like to have fun like I do, please right now go ahead and click on that subscribe button and also the bell so you can get all of my content on movie reviews, trailer reactions, entertainment news, or anything that I think is cool. So the writer and director for this film Good Boys is Gene Stupnitsky. If you know his work, he did a number of episodes for the show The Office. Now, I'm not too familiar with that show, but I have seen a few episodes, and what I did see was funny, and he was a part of that. Now, the co-writer for this film is Lee Eisenberg, and what's interesting is they actually both co-directed this film, but Gene is the one that got the credit. But what is Good Boys about? Well, three sixth grade boys ditch school and embark on an epic journey while carrying accidentally stolen drugs, being hunted by teenage girls, and trying to make their way home in time for a long-awaited party. So there are a number of things that you will enjoy in this film like I did. I will go ahead and say that right now. But the first and most important thing is this movie, Good Boys, did take me back to my childhood. I do remember riding around the neighborhood in my bike, going through the woods, going down the alleys and things like that, possibly in places that our parents would not want us. That's all I did in elementary and sometimes junior high. No, we wasn't riding down the road 4, 5, 15 miles like some of the characters in this movie, but I do remember all of that. I do remember sleepovers and the things that we talked about. I do remember, making tents in my room with strings and yarn and covers and blankets and pillows and all that good stuff. I remember annoying siblings hanging around my friends sometimes when I really did not want them to be there, and also trying to sneak around and watch those naughty Cinemax videos on TV that, of course, no one wanted to get caught doing that as well. All that is in this movie, and it is hilarious for the most part. Also, what I loved about this movie is it's very funny. It is freaking hilarious. Now, every line of dialogue, every joke does not hit as hard as maybe the previous one. Initially, I was just kind of chuckling to myself, but, there was a number of times where I was laughing out loud very hard with everybody else in the audience, and there was a few times where I was just kind of laughing, to myself. Now, there are three main leads in this movie. We have Jacob Tremblay, who plays Max, Keith L. Williams from Fort Worth, Texas, what's up, playing Lucas, and Brady Noon playing Thor. He just happens to have the same name as a comic book character, one of my favorites, and they did a decent job. I'll go ahead and say this now that I did not love their characters. I liked them. They did a decent job. They had good chemistry on screen, and the parts where they just did not seem like they were the best of friends, seemed like they were just kind of in the group together by circumstance. I like that the film actually addressed that and also has some real life issues like, sometimes children are friends because they're friends, or sometimes they're just friends because they're in close proximity from each other and they really just don't have anyone else to talk to. And as children, and we all grow up and we all can relate to this, people grow apart, and that is just kind of something that I really did like about this film, especially towards the end. It's something that I just did not see coming and was very, very surprising, and just, added a little mature element to it. Something else that I liked about this film is something called Scab. I'm not going to tell you what it is. You just have to see the film. I thought that was hilarious and also funny. Something that the lead actors were able to do is just bring a childlike innocence to their character. That is where all the laughs came from. But of course, they're going to be childlike because they are children. But when you mix that in with adult themes and they just really don't know some of the stuff that they're getting into, it's really hilarious to see those two dynamics clash together. 10, 11-year-old boys, trying to learn how to kiss, learning what porn is, and, Molly and drugs and things like that. That was very, very funny to me. And guys, we all know that we're all products of our environment. Everybody does not grow up the same. Everyone's household is different. You have one character dealing with this at home, you got another character dealing with these issues at home, and another character that just kind of seemed normal. And then when you put all those characters together and see how they bounce off of each other, based on their experience. It's a little bit of realism in this movie that I really did appreciate. And did I also say that it's funny? Yes, I did say it's funny, but I just had to make sure you knew that, because as the film went on, I was laughing more and more. Now let's talk about the things in this film that I did not like, and there was a number of them, but not a lot. First, the actor Keith L. Williams, character Lucas. I'm not going to say that his acting was bad. I don't think that's what it was, but I just did not like his character at all. He was the biggest in the bunch, but he was also the weakest. He was a beta male. And I kind of feel weird saying that, this guy's 11, 12 years old in the film and in real life, but I just really don't see the reason why he was being abused and mistreated so much. It really did make me uncomfortable. He was taken advantage of. He was the sacrifice of the group, and that's just something that I did not like. I just did not care for his character. He was annoying. He talked too much. He was a tattletale. The things that he did in this movie, I don't understand how he can be friends with anybody. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Time after time in this movie, he had chance after chance after chance, but he was just blabbing his mouth over and over and over again. And these are some of the things in this movie that was not funny to me, to where I actually did a face palm, rolled my eyes, or threw my head back in the chair with frustration with how they wrote this character. It didn't make sense. He was weak to me. And yes, I am saying this about a child, but hey, it is what it is. I just have to be honest. There's also a scene in this movie that has to do with a highway and the way that they're crossing the street. I'll just go ahead and say what they did when they got into the middle of the highway was one of the stupidest, the most unrealistic things ever known to man. Not Tyler Perry directing Acrimony, but what he did in this scene right here, it was just beyond frustrating to me. And it just clocked me out of the movie, but I know I wasn't enjoying this part as well. Now, this is also a hard R. There's a ton of sex jokes. There's a ton of cussing and things like that. And while I was talking about the good things I liked in this film, like the childlike innocence and how that's being thrown into the real world, they did not do a great job of balancing that childlike innocence at sometimes when they were trying to be serious too. You have a child in this movie that doesn't know much of anything, has no experience with beer, has no experience with sex or the opposite sex at all. He's acting like a child, but then later on in the film, he just wants to turn into an adult, talking about, oh yeah, if he takes the Molly, a fox is going to want to come fuck a squirrel. That doesn't make sense. Yes, children do cuss as children. We all know that. We've all been there. Not all children cuss, but you can't take one child that cusses all the time and one child that doesn't, and then try to mix that into one character. And I feel that they did that with the Lucas character just too much. It didn't, one thing, he's acting like a perfect little angel, like he just never killed an ant before. And then over here, he's dropping F-bombs left and right. That just doesn't make sense to me. There was just no balance. It seemed like that was just kind of forced in to get an R rating. This film still could have worked to me if it was PG-13. The only reason it was rated R was because of all the cuss words, and it didn't bother me too much, but it wasn't completely necessary either. I don't know. That's just how I feel about it. And if you're gonna have people cussing in the movie, especially if they're children, just make it genuine. And a lot of times it was genuine in this film, and a lot of other times it wasn't. But that's just not with the main cast either. There was two other characters by the name of Soren and another gentleman that was a part of a group called the Scooters. They ran around in scooters, and he had some, blue blocker shades on. He had his hair slicked back. Those two characters in the movie were just stupid to me. They was just over the top and just completely unrealistic, trying to be cool, trying to be the badass, and everybody looks up to them. But I'm just like, come on, they might as well just took on some black makeup and drew a fake goatee on their faces or something like that. That's just how elementary it was. Hence, this was an elementary movie, no pun intended. But other than that, I did enjoy the film. I did like it a lot. I laughed throughout. This is nothing that I will buy, but if a year or two down the line, if I'm bored and flipping through channels or going through Netflix or whatever whichever other streaming platform, and The Good Boys is there, it's available, and I have nothing else to watch, I think I will watch it. It may not be something that I suggest around a group of friends, but if someone else does, I would be like, hey, that's cool. Go ahead and play it. We can have a lot of fun here. But also, I just want to end this on a positive note. I mean, like I said when I started out this review, it took me back to my childhood, especially riding bikes around the neighborhood. Now, while in real life, I did not go on some super duper adventure where I'm being chased by teenagers and accidentally stole drugs or anything like that. But the adventure element that they were able to infuse in this movie did have me smiling ear to ear. And that's all I was actually looking for. If I had to rate Good Boys out of a 1 out of 10, I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. Yes, a 7.5 out of 10. But guys, that is just my opinion. Have you seen Good Boys, or do you want to see it? Please let me know down in the comment section below. Let's get this conversation going and keep it flowing. If you like this video, go ahead and give me the thumbs up. Also, please consider subscribing to my channel. Help me reach 11,000 subscribers. I just reached 10. Thank you so much, guys. I really do appreciate it. You can also look me up on social media. I would really appreciate it. But guys, again, I just want to thank you so much for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget that my name is Brandon Keith Avery, and that's just my opinion. Peace.